Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Hannah and I love to do all sorts of DIY projects and sewing projects, and this week I actually have a very exciting sewing project planned. So I want to make a tapestry inspired jacket. I recently came across the artist Martha Mood on my Pinterest. She was recommended to me and I'm super glad that she popped up on my Pinterest feed, because I completely fell in love with her designs. So she was a textile artist from the US who created these very beautiful and very intricate pieces of art. So she made tapestries and quilts, however you would like to call them. And I just love her compositions and her colors and all the structure and texture that she was able to achieve using different embroidery techniques. My main inspiration definitely was this piece by Martha Mood, simply because I loved the green and yellows. And I think this would be a perfect piece to sort of recreate and translate into a clothing item for spring, because I just love the colorways. I think it's very fun and sort of whimsy, and yeah, just a very stunning design. So yeah, that is what I will be tackling in this week's video. I will basically be making a jacket from scratch and doing sort of applique or sewing machine embroidery, and yeah, create a tapestry or quilt inspired design on the jacket. So for the pattern I will be using the Paola jacket pattern. I've used this pattern already on my channel in one of my recent videos where I made a jacket out of a vintage curtain. So yeah, in that video I explain more about like the details of constructing the piece. And I would say this pattern is suitable for advanced beginners. It's not too complicated and the pattern is also free. So I will link it in my description if you want to check it out. My next step is to look for fabrics that I can use for the appliques, and then I'm going to be sketching out my designs. So I just went digging in my stash and I found a lot of green fabric that I have left over from various projects. This one, for example, this corduroy, is from my corduroy set that I made a couple of months ago actually now. And this is sort of a fake velvet, like a plastic velvet, but it's a nice color. I think it works quite well with the dark denim. And then we have all sorts of cottons here. So this one, for example, is from a shirt that I hemmed and made shorter. And then I decided that for my accents I want to go with like this mustard yellow, and then I have this a little bit like brighter yellow, and then some white. I will be orientating my design very closely as to like the original design, and she had all these amazing colors of greens and then yeah, just like pops of yellow, and I think that looked very nice. And these are the like threads and yarns that I'm gonna use. I will link some of the designs in my description box, so sort of my inspiration that I landed on. There's not really a pattern for this, honestly, because I just looked online on what shapes I like, and this is just freestyled, honestly. I've come up with my first design, and as you can see here, this is a lot of dead space because I just took some jackets that are already made and kind of laid them on top to see the length, because I remember that the Paola jacket is quite long. So this is just a kind of mark for me to know where to shorten the jacket. So this is actually the bottom here. But overall I really like it. I think it looks very nice. And I kind of thought that I would like to repeat some of the patterns in a more minimalistic way on the front side of the jacket. this is more like a detailed shot now, and as you can see, my embroidery thread is right in the middle here where my needle will be punching down. And then I just place my finger like this to make sure it's aligned, like straight. And then, yeah, I can start sewing. And as you can see, the zigzag stitch then encloses my thread. And then I also do a back stitch in the end, and then I can pull it out, and then it is nice and tidy. My thread is always a little bit longer simply because I need space for my finger to press it down in the end, and yeah, that makes it so much easier. And then I just cut away the excess. And here's also a little progress update. So I attached the pockets, and then almost all of the flowers. I just have one flower left. And then for the other side, I also attached the pocket and the flower, and then here I tried the embroidery. So it is the next day. Last night I tried to roll up the jacket so that the pieces would stay in place, sort of, and it kind of worked. At least for the most part. But yeah, I will do some arranging now, and then I will start pinning the pieces. And now would be a good point to, yeah, whip out the glue. So if you have like a fabric glue or just a regular glue stick, I think you could very easily glue some of the pieces in place. Good morning everyone, it is the next day and I am done with my back panel, and I really like it so far. I got it done last night. It was a very long night actually, but it turned out so good. I'm super happy with it. I'm kind of thinking if I should add more detail here, but I don't really know what, so I think it's time for the next step, and then I can decide if I want to come back to the back panel and add more stuff. But yeah, the next step is basically to assemble the jacket. So I will assemble my back piece and my front piece first on the shoulder seams, and then I will do the sleeves as well as the side seams, and then the last step will be to do the collar here and then the facing down here, and add buttons and do all of the hemming. I'm almost done with the jacket, but I have a few little details that I want to finish. And one of those details is an interfacing or lining piece for the bottom edge of the sleeve here. I kind of want to recreate like a sleeve cuff lining, if that makes sense. So just the lower part of my sleeve will be lined, so that when I fold it over, if I want to roll up my sleeves, then not the wrong side of the fabric is showing, but instead also this checkered fabric to sort of, yeah, have a nice lining fabric in here. And I just cut two pieces from the sleeve pattern, so I just use the lower part of the sleeve, and then I can insert into my sleeve panel here. So I finished my jacket last night and I'm super happy with it, but I do have some notes that I would like to share with all of you. First of all, I would recommend that you don't use fabrics that fray a lot, because I did, or at least some of them are quite prone to fraying. And yeah, if you choose these kind of fabrics, I would recommend that you either glue the edges a little bit or use interfacing, which I didn't do, but I think that could help, especially if you plan on washing your jacket in the washing machine. Yeah, just for making it last longer, I think that could be a good option. And I also went in with my just embroidery needle and hand stitched some of the details by hand, just to give it a little bit more dimension. And that was honestly so much fun, and yeah, I think that definitely elevated the jacket a little bit more. But overall, I'm super happy. I love the colors that I chose, and I love how the design came together. And on the front, I think my favorite part is like the flower situation on the front. And I think having the little pocket here, this almost looks like it's a plant pot and that like plants would grow out of it. And I think that is so, so cute. I love that so much. And I also really love that I did the cuff facing. I think that adds another level of interest, which is amazing. Yeah, overall I'm super happy. And I also wanted to show you the insides. So the inside is almost like an embroidery piece by itself. And before I show you the final jacket, I just wanted to say thank you so much. Also thank you so much for all the love and all the kind comments on my last video. And also thank you so much for subscribing. I gained so many new followers now. And honestly, I'm speechless. So yeah, thank you so much. And also thank you to everyone who likes or comments on my videos. This helps me out a lot. And now it's time for the reveal.